Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Hello again, St. Lucia, and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. My name is Phillip Sydney. My guest today is the Honorable Ezehiel Joseph, who has responsibility for agriculture, fisheries, cooperatives, natural resources, and physical planning. Welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and I'm happy to be here once again with you, and of course to discuss matters. As it pertains to agriculture and all the other portfolios that you have mentioned.
And it's important because you see, being regular, it means giving information to the people, you know, especially the farming community, whether it's good or not so good. At least they need to know.
I hope I'm not a bearer of bad news.
Mr. Minister, boy, I don't know. I'm going to say we are a praying nation. You know, we have had the weather systems back to back to back, and then they have avoided us. And boy, I don't know what to say. I think, boy, we're praying well. I think you must be praying well too for your farmers. What's your comment on this?
Well, like you said, unfortunately for this year, we have experienced the worst as it pertains to the frequency, tropical storms and hurricanes. And I want, first of all, to express on behalf of the agricultural community and by extension the government of St. Lucia, our condolences or sorrows to those countries in the region who have experienced, you know, the ravage of the tropical storms that we have seen over the past few weeks. I was able to speak with the Minister of Agriculture in Antigua Barbuda, and in fact he is the representative for Barbuda, and whenever we meet at forums and we say the Minister for Agriculture of Antigua, it reminds us that there's a country named Barbuda, and that's his area of responsibility. Okay. And this on the description and the situation is not very healthy. It is very sad. He's in Antigua now. Of course, look, now we have Dominica. I have not been able to speak to the Minister from Dominica because of the whole aspect of communication. Yes. But the reality is that climate change is here, and in Cabinet we're discussing it, and we said, look, whilst we have not been severely affected, the reality at some point in time we will, and we have to prepare for it. Definitely. And that's, I'm sure you remember last year when we experienced Tropical Storm Matthew, the Prime Minister in his address spoke about resilient agriculture. What are we doing to prepare ourselves as it pertains to whenever we will be, unfortunately, experiencing the ravage of a hurricane or a storm. So that's the situation. But unfortunately, it's not one country, it's a number of countries, in the region. And we have to build up the resilience.
I know you did put your boots on and you went out in the field like a soldier, as an old extension officer. And of course, to see firsthand, you know, what actually happened to our farmers down there, especially our banana farmers. And what can you say? What was your evaluation?
Well, like you said, I mean, that's where I'm comfortable, out in the fields, and to meet with the farmers, to interact with them, and to have a first-hand appreciation as to what we have experienced, good or bad, you know. In fact, on Tuesday when we were in Cabinet, I got a preliminary reports that there's nothing significant bad about the sector. But of course, in some areas, our banana farmers did experience some level of loss. So I went out there to have an appreciation, and I can see that we were spared generally as far as the agricultural sector is concerned. As it pertains to the banana subsector, we can see what 2-4%, all right? But there's an area that got severely affected, that's Roseau Valley. All right, I don't know why, but in the Roseau Valley, that's where we experience more damage as it pertains to the impact of the storm. Some farmers, or 1 or 2 farmers, would say experience 90 to 95%. But generally, our assessment of the Roseau Valley is about 20 to 25%. All right. So it's a matter for us now to see what we can do, because what is really needed now, and my concern now, Sydney, is the black Sigatoka, how we manage it, because the level of moisture in the soil. My only concern is the question of nutrition, because of all the rains we have gotten. We'll have a lot of leaching, so that will be my concern. Fortunately for us is that we have fertilizer on island, all right, because based on the program we started implementing this financial year, we were able to bring on fertilizer, so we have fertilizer on the country. We were purchasing some oil out of Miami, but because of the situation in Miami, we have not received the oil, but we have sufficient oil now, at least to do one wrong. So today, actually, the project will be doing its assessment and to come up with a program as to what it thinks it can do in the short term to give support to our farmers.
Okay, and that takes me to, in terms of production and export, are we saying, with that little setback, are you comfortable in saying that we should be able to reach our goals for export, especially to the French market, come December, January?
Well, you speak about January. Last week we were discussing with the French and with Windfresh as to starting exporting to the French market in November.
Okay.
Right, much earlier than we had previously agreed to. And especially what happened to Martinique and Guadeloupe now.
Right.
So there might be even more demand,
more demand,
for our banners going to the French market. But I'm hearing, based on discussions I had with DECO yesterday, with Windfresh yesterday, we don't know what's happened to the DR.
Yes.
So if the DR is severely affected by this storm, the hurricane, then they would want more of our banners to stay in the traditional market. So by the end of this week, we would know exactly what's happening. We have started developing a special box for the French market, for France. So we're looking at November. I don't see the situation severely impacting our export to the French market. What might be the situation, not for us not to start exporting, or it might depend on what happened to the DR. If the DR is severely affected, then I'm sure Windfresh, and of course rightfully so, would want to satisfy our traditional markets before we explore new markets.
Okay. Based on your assessment and also maybe an evaluation of the new banana unit and the new programs in looking at productivity, have you seen a level of increase in production?
Well, yes. When you compare now, the period now to last year, there is an increase in production.
Great.
We have seen a number, at least 40 farmers we have reintroduced onto the export market. These farmers were either abandoned fields or looking at the regional market. We have said so. We're looking at 3 possibilities as far as market is concerned. One, the UK market, our traditional market, which will include France, okay, the regional market and the local market. Because we should not forget our local market, right?
We have been not for years.
because the school feeding program, we're now seeing how we can feed exposing and introducing our students to eating more of our bananas and the apples and the grapes. So we should not forget our local market. But the reality is, whichever market that we are looking at, quality is key. All right? Because we are going to say you go produce for our local market and have a certain standard, and produce for the regional market have a certain standard. And we should have standard across, regardless of the market we're looking at. Okay? So when we did the assessment last week, we are seeing that we have introduced more farmers who have been given an opportunity to start back selling on the regional market, international market, and that's where the money is.
That's right.
So when you compare the 2 periods, we are producing more now.
Okay.
And the number of farmers who have replanted, like went around yesterday, I saw a number of new fields re-established in the Mabia Valley, Ramju Farms. I saw some young guys there, planting. So there seems to be an interest in the industry.
One of the things, especially with the weather systems, and of course we are very vulnerable What about insurance, crop insurance? I mean, this is something that has been in the air for a while, and you know, farmers are looking forward to this. How do you see this?
Well, it's even more important now. You know, the reality of climate change and the frequency that we experience in either drought or hurricanes or tropical storms is even more important now. And unfortunately, we had an insurance just for bananas, and it was just wind, all right, what we call wind crop. We are reviewing this. We are looking at an insurance policy for agriculture.
Yes,
agriculture,
yes,
including
not only
fish,
bananas,
including
yes,
fisheries,
and livestock.
Non-livestock,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So that's what we're discussing now. So when we are able to finalize it, the quicker we can do it, the better for us. Because we don't have time.
Exactly.
Right? We are behind time as it pertains to this matter. So the quicker we can do it, the better for us.
So how are you hoping to look at it? I mean, is it say private insurance, insuring the farmer, or are you going from a government perspective?
Well, at the initial stage, you need government intervention, all right, to give the farmers a level of safety net and to start them off.
That's right.
But it's private. It's a private insurance company, right? We engage in. I remember we had discussion with ICA, and ICA did some research not only for St. Lucia but for the Caribbean, because at that time we appreciated the need for insurance and to expand the what you call it, the perils, that's what you call it, the perils that that wind crop was given. I had discussions with wind crop. They had an intention of exploring, but what you were saying is that unfortunately we don't have records of production apart from bananas, right? Bananas we have production figures, but when it comes to the other crops, our records are not that accurate. So, but of course we get in there.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, we're due for our first break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. We're due for our first break. Back soon.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join revolution. Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP. The good food revolution.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. With me, of course, is the Honorable Ezehiel Joseph, who has responsibility for agriculture. We spoke about crop insurance, or insurance generally for farmers and for fishers and the likes, but the pension scheme, I think, is something that we need to look at, which has been in the pipeline for a while. I know Cassius Fishermen Co-op has done something for the aged farmers, fishers, I think there's something that should be looked for the fishers, the farmers, the whole works.
Well, I'm happy you bring this up, Sydney, because going around the units, the banana rehab unit, going around meeting the farmers, because they have a lot of town hall meetings.
Yes,
all right.
Yes.
Educating farmers as to the project and what we hoping to achieve, and of course for them to buy into the project and appreciate the need for consistency as it pertains to quality. The farmers themselves are the ones saying, look, we have been speaking about this pension scheme for a very long time. I mean, Heritage, we're coming back with a new project to assist them. We need to factor in insurance. What are we going to be able to engage them, all right, in a discussion as far as insurance? And that is coming from the farmers. So you can see there's a need. They have realized that there's a need for insurance. Say, look, the people working at NFTU and people working at government, Ministry of Agriculture, after a while they have an insurance, right? And they had a pension, but they are the ones out in the field and they need for a pension.
Yes,
so
yes,
we are looking at options. I mean, one of the options, of course, is the NIC,
Yes,
right? The NIC is already existing,
yes,
right?
yes.
And based on what I'm hearing, they are not against the respective organizations making deductions in the form of a cess, paying towards an insurance for them. So it's for us now to be able to look at the situation. I know that the ministry, along with the project, is looking at options, all right? And as soon as that is finalized, we'll get back to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Minister, nous ça parle un petit créole parce que nous pouvons dire mon dans la chai c'est femme qui comprend que la chai langue maman nous ni un chai c'est clone là ni ça là et nous moi crois nous comme nous produire chai parce manière la passer la manière ouais l'autre petit pays I mean nous chancer so dis-nous ça qu'est-ce que ouais à ça.
Well, Moussa dit nous chancer et puis nous avons pris nous avons continuer pour chancer parce que pays c'est pas ça ni un cyclone actuellement notre l'année l'autre 3-4 l'année right nous pas ça ni un cyclone but réalité c'est ça a changé et puis nous avons plus cyclone parce que nous avons avant le l'année ça côté cyclone nous l'année ça et puis côté pays par là qui dommagé qu'a dit nous that nous en tant qui a changé et puis nous pour préparer quoi nous pour les ça qui arrive nous les qui arrive nous so moi ça dit that le moi parler by ministre antique agriculture il dit moi Barbida croisière chai Dominique moi parler by ministre Dominique but moi ça à ce rapport nous gagne dans Dominique croisier but pour payer cette ici les vins pour agricole et puis l'autre bagaille nous chercher toujours quand ça vient monter dans cavé ça qui a fait et puis parler puis d'autres farmers moi ça dit that nous chancer nous pas un chay dommage but les nouvelles situations aux eaux ces places là qui ont plus dommage et puis pas agricole général but fi nous sur aux eaux qui ont plus dommage les farmers about des farmers aux eaux on ça dit tout bail croisé but là aux eaux quand il y a about 20% fait croiser aux eaux l'autre place au pays nous ça dit il y a des figues tombées ou ça dit ça bail qui normal et puis vent so ça nous a dit que la situation nous avons expérimenté actuellement est important pour nous savoir les affaires insurance, assurance, right? C'est important. Nous savons les venus pour agricole, celles ça nous a mis, de travailler les affaires wind crop, right? Et puis wind crop, c'est assister les farmers après le vent passé. Actuellement, nous avons drought, nous avons glue, nous avons vent, nous avons tout bail. So nous passons ni insurance qui a un bagage vent, right? Et puis nous passons côté pays insurance qui a un bagage seulement figue. Nous pouvons faire insurance qui avait agricole généralement, qui avait la pêche et tout bail comme ça. Farmer qui n'est animaux. C'est qualité insurance nous pouvons faire actuellement. Et puis moi ça dit que nous avons parlé et puis d'autres business place et puis as soon as nous avons finalisé la situation nous avons parlé par les farmers. Question c'est qui nous avons commencé pour moi ça dit moi pas c'est ça qui a fait mais pour moi ça dit que le gouvernement qui pour bail pour meilleure assistance pour farmers pour commencer et puis ça fait insurance ça
pour faire des sérieux
OK et puis après farmers qui sérieux quand ils vont continuer parce que réalité c'est farmers gouvernement pas ça chaque temps nous a un cyclone ou un mauvais temps pour bail support.
D'accord.
Alright, ça c'est un business nous travaille et puis farmers ni pour apprécier ça c'est un business nous qu'a fait et pour m'assurer depuis package là c'est un package qui bon yo kay because farmers actuellement coupant et puis apprécier ça nous ni actuellement ça fait mauvais temps nous ni actuellement et puis pièce farmer parce que moi et puis pièce farmer parler où yo travaille tellement ouais et puis un jour deux éditeurs trois éditeurs tout bail croisé et puis pas un pièce bagaille pour fall back also so at least nous ca ouais that l'année la théorie Unless for farmers là pour ni qualité si pour ça so ko gouvernement ka travailler plus vite que possible pour mettre ça en place.
Pension, chaque femme a pêche à parler de pension. Comment vous regardez ça?
Well, I mean, comme vous savez, nous mettons unit là en place, ça unit pour assister portefeuille vie et puis unit là calé au lieu on pays à parler puis farmers pour dire farmers là ça nous voulons faire et puis qui manière ça involver en ça nous voulons faire et puis qualité situation puis conditions nous voulons vieux magnifique là et puis on sait bagarre là qui a sorti sérieux les farmers là when mam from unit là c'est affaire pension right qui ça nous va faire pour bailler une pension et puis ça va nous va parler about l'année après l'année et puis moi je voulais dire that nous croyons à venir pour nous mettre en place pour ces farmers là. Right? Nous ni NICA, c'est une organisation nous ni cette ici qui travaille là, c'est pour nous savoir qui manière nous travailler bien NICA pour incorporer farmers et puis fishermen en affaires pension scheme.
Nous avons pour l'autre to break. We parler tout à l'heure. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. We're back soon because that's our second break.
Smart choices when you shop lead to happy, healthy families when you eat. Always choose fresh local fruits and vegetables from producers you can trust, packed with all of nature's nutrients, fresh from your local farmer. St. Lucia's fruits and vegetable producers meet every government standard for health and safety with fresh local food products straight from the ground to your plate. When you choose St. Lucian grown produce at your local grocers, you choose a healthy lifestyle for your entire family.
For my vocal, I eat local. What's in my dish? Green vegan saltfish. Buy fresh, eat fresh. Yeah!
St. Lucia's farms produce an abundance of fresh quality fruits, vegetables and ground provisions. Highly nutritious and incredibly tasty. Eating right together when it's most important. Healthy families, buy fresh, eat fresh.
Welcome back. Mr. Minister, farmers are now asked, of course, you're looking at increasing export and, of course, increasing production. Farmers, I've heard over the radio, farmers have been calling and saying, look, I mean, they have production and they cannot get rid of some of the produce, the banana produce. What's the situation with this?
Well, I mean, and if that is still the situation, it's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Let me say that, and let me make it clear, as a government, because we will not be out there encouraging farmers to increase production and productivity, and 40 and 50% of the produce will stay back.
Exactly.
That's not encouraging.
Exactly.
So that's a no-no. And I've expressed that to the management of Windfresh. My Prime Minister have expressed that to the management of Windfresh. That's the position. Okay. Now, as it pertains to the quotas, what we are told, and rightfully so, that there are special pack types that Windfresh have limits on because it's going to supermarkets. So this supermarket asks you for 100 boxes of a special pack type. You get 750 boxes.
Okay.
So that is where the quota comes in.
Okay.
All right. So that, of course, they're limited when it comes to that, and farmers have to understand that.
Right.
That when it comes to the special pack types, Windfresh is limited, right? That's where the quota comes in.
Right.
But I'm also understanding that's there's what they call the generic type pack type, all right? And based on the information I got from Windfresh, and if I'm wrong, I'm quoting them, that the generic pack types is more lucrative when it comes to net returns than the special pack types,
Okay.
right? But I think the challenge we have is that over the years, our boxers, persons who are still boxing bananas, have been so accustomed to boxing or packaging the pack
Supermarket,
types with the bags, and it's much easier. So the generic pack types is creating a problem for them to pack. So I've said, if that's the situation, what we have to do is go out there and start retraining these individuals.
Of course.
Because when we started the banana industry, we had persons going out there and training people how to box. All right? There are a number of persons, if I look at the question for us, then you can count on one hand persons that are still boxing.
That's right.
And when banners were in the glory days, we had a number of persons boxing.
Correct.
So if that is correct, Sydney, that the generic pack type is the area you have to go to, as far as to be able to accommodate the additional fruits, which of course they say they want, right? And if the challenge is that whenever persons are packing, you get a lot of damages because of they're not able to pack it properly. All you have to do is go out and train the people.
Exactly.
You know? I've said so. But the reality is we cannot continue to have a situation where farmers are producing and they cannot sell.
That's right.
And I make no bones about this thing. I've made it clear to the management of Windfresh, and they have told me as long as, of course I have to emphasize that, as long as they get quality bananas, they can buy every box.
Very good.
So farmers have to understand. So whilst we as a government is saying that, look, Windfresh have to buy the bananas, but they also have a responsibility for quality, and we cannot compromise that.
That's definitely.
Definitely.
Mr. Minister, the youth. You mentioned earlier that in the Ramju farms there are a few young farmers who have taken up the production of bananas. Let's look at the youth program, and I think that's the way to go. Since you're pushing bananas, maybe we can reconstruct the program and focus on bananas, because since bananas we're looking at increased production. Because the other crops that they were in has not worked out well. So where are we going?
Well, I mean, yesterday I was able to speak to one or two young persons who are occupying the Ramju lands. I can see that, like you said, based on the past years that they have been involved in the agriculture, they have not been able to see the benefit.
Definitely.
Because the support systems were not there, and the leadership at the top was not very encouraging. I know that we have a team on the field trying their best with limited resources, but we have to look at the youth in agriculture.
Definitely.
You know, I mean,
have to.
because the idea of youth in agriculture and the program came from me, right? Based on my experience working at Sir Alfred Lewis Agricultural College, a number of young persons I saw that were interested in agriculture. Based on my experience with working with the government of Canada, where we had that 2-year project in the Mabia Valley, youth in agriculture. So why people say that persons are not interested, young persons are not interested in agriculture, that's far from the truth.
That's true.
The challenge young persons have, the challenges are one, land and resources. These are the challenges. But the young persons are interested in agriculture. So as a result of that, we did put a project together, and we got support from CARICOM Development Fund of $3.2 million to have a youth in agriculture program, grant funding. Of course, we lost the elections, and you know what happens. But coming back now, all the money has been utilized. The 150 young persons that we say we are targeting, we have not been able to reach that target. We have material sitting on at Million Bousseju to assist farmers with construction of pens that have not been able to be accomplished. We have young farmers out there with greenhouses. They cannot produce on a sustainable basis because support systems are not there. We have farmers doing young farmers doing open farm, same situation. So we have reviewed the program, and of course the Prime Minister spoke about the program in his policy statement.
That's right, yes.
when he was speaking, addressing the country during the budget cycle. We have reviewed the program. We still see there's some resources, and what we are looking at, we need to. In fact, I met with the funding agency, right, and they said we have until December.
Whoa.
Right, to complete this program.
Good news.
All right, no, that's good news. But the bad news is, if we do not complete this program in record time and do it successfully, the $3.2 million that was grant funding will now become a loan. And that was the arrangement when I signed the document, and they're still holding to this agreement, right? They also saying that based on the review, they're not happy at what was accomplished, all right? But of course, they're optimistic that we can salvage it, all right? So we are looking at what we can do. When you can tell me, Sydney, that you have a young farmer going to build a poultry pen, and he has no experience he or she has no experience building a poultry pen, but that individual would have to be the contractor to build a poultry pen on a could-may basis. When will that poultry pen? When will that poultry pen finish?
And the quality too.
I think the best approach was to factor in a contractor to build a pen for the individual,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And do it in record time.
Yes,
So by now, that individual would be operating that pen. I'm just giving you one example
Yeah,
of the type of policy
yeah.
that was there as put into that project. And we have all the materials sitting on at both issue, right? The young persons cannot transport it because they don't have resources to pay transportation. So it's a mess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a mess.
Mr. Minister, we come to an end, you know.
Oh, come to an end when that happened.
Well, just
Yeah,
final rules quickly.
Well, I want to say that I'm happy that we started with the whole aspect of the storms that we're experiencing. I'm happy that St. Lucia have been spared, and I'm hoping that we'll continue to be blessed and
Yes,
continue to
boy.
pray, because the reality is that St. Lucia cannot afford, not only the agricultural sector,
That we as a whole.
who as a whole cannot afford a storm right now. And my heart goes off to our sister countries that have experienced the negative impact of the storm, and as a country, as St. Lucians, we should do all we can to assist them in recovering. Thank you very much, and I want to tell our farmers that as a ministry and a government, we'll continue to give them the support that we can give with the limited resources that we have to encourage them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You've been watching Agriculture on the Move, and of course with me was the Honourable Minister responsible for Agriculture, Honourable Ezehiel Joseph. Thank you for viewing. I'm Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again. Thank you, Phil.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.